In focus. Aloha Wahinis. If you want to support the channel, send me art or click the link so you can help fund my Liberty Device High Velocity food budget. I'm not talking about a particular live stream today. Just assume, if you have to, that I'm talking about the original Drink and Draw, which is 4 dudes who are terrified to talk about anything important. I'm going to be using the, hold on. I'm going to use this Bunny Man campaign as a backdrop. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. He doesn't endorse me or anything. It's just a cool Comicsgate project that launched today. I will say that I do prefer Indiegogo campaigns because it's easier for me to keep my stuff all together, and I like the Indiegogo layout a little bit better. So just something to keep in mind. How is this for a title? Comicsgate Livestream Chemistry. Rule 1. Have some. I'm going to try not to name names, but I also know the channels I'm going to use as examples are not going to be listening to this, so I think I'm safe if something slips out. A warning, I may be a little harsh, but sometimes you must whip the student before she takes the lesson. I was actually in one of his live streams last night in the audience section, making istophobic jokes about his ethnicity, and he laughs because he's an adult with a sense of humor. I do listen preferentially to live streams now. It feels like more and more channels are going to the nightly live stream model. Right now, I'm listening to Creepy Little Book, a small live stream with under 100 in the chat. EVN Cecil are doing their thing also on their channel, but well, I'll just say that the chemistry isn't the same. It's not the same as it used to be, though I understand that a ton of people like the show, so don't get bent out of shape, and I'll come back to that in a sec. I was thinking about the art channel live streams. Here's the thing, when you have a half dozen artists who are drawing, it's pretty boring. One popular show usually has a guy who is sort of the announcer, but you have one guy who's doing the majority of the conversation. Believe it or not, you don't want Mr. Humble in that role. You want a guy who has some narcissism to him. He has to be comfortable talking, period, about himself, about stories he thinks are important, whatever. You need a natural storyteller, and someone who can add some spice is great. Say you have 6 guys who all get along, all perfectly nice. Well, you need some asshole in there. You need some Nerkish Cecil, John Malin, that Star Wars girl, Ben Henderson, Doug TenNapel, or the biggest, spiciest twat of them all, EVS. You don't want a perfect echo chamber of personality types. I don't mean people have to fight or be jerks. Everyone can get along, but you need diversity of opinion, and more importantly, diversity of personality type. Streamlabs only allows 6 people, but with OBS there is a way to get more people on. And to be perfectly honest, if people do a little back and forth, a little argy-bargy, a little disagreement, that's good for listeners. I was watching some show the other night, and this girl was getting a little upset with the people trolling. And trolls are good for a live stream. Trolls bring in super chats. Trolls bring in impressions for the show. So you better think twice before you block those trolls. They bring people in. It's interaction with your show. It's not a bad thing. If you've got 6 guys drawing, then dear Lord, you need another half dozen guys who are shooting the poop about whatever. Silence is a live stream killer. You want Chatty Cathy's. A motor mouth is your friend when you have 6 guys who are not big talkers. 10 people talking too much is better than too little. Holy cow. Her cuppeth overfloweth. I see she has a nipple there. Where's her nipple? That's anyway. So by now I have 4 minutes in. I've lost the casual click and run listener, so I can get into it. I was thinking about live stream chemistry, and at first I was thinking about, should I find a name for this guy other than his name, like maybe what is it? Canine lupus lactate. No, I'll just say John Malin. He was on a drawing live stream where he was joking around, and I wasn't paying very close attention because art streams are not my thing. I can sculpt a little, but with drawing, I just want the finished product. I don't want to see how the sausage gets made, especially since artists are mostly panty-sniffing alcoholics. The only reason I listen to drawing streams is because I like the guys, and I just won't let it play in the background. So it's important to have someone who brings a little edge to the show, a little bit of humor or spice. When I heard the vote Malin, vote often thing, I just didn't think it was a big deal. It would seem to me that Malin could bring a lot more people into the channel. And I heard that there was something about the drawings that we get first place, they would earn more on the auction that would be a few days later. But you guys can do the math. Tell me, is it better to have a smaller piece of a big pie or a bigger piece of a small pie? Sorry to mention pie. I was listening to this unnamed art stream, and it had about 130 people watching, which is great. But I can't help but wonder if Malin was there joking around, if that number wouldn't be a little larger. And the thing about funny or spicy or even people who are a little on the a-hole side is, in my experience, those streams get more super chats. When you have 6 old farts drawing and not talking, for the love of God, you need people like Malin to add some friction. Sorry for that image in your head. Pie, butter, friction, panties, moist, damp. Anyway. And keep in mind, it ain't like Malin was getting those super chats. So say he was getting top dollar for his art at the later auctions. How much were the other guys getting? Was it more or less than without Malin? Do the math. You tell me. Maybe I'm way off base, and if I am, just disregard the video. And keep in mind that he would also bring more people. I'm imagining someone's spicy take on this, and Bianca, whatever. Keep in mind that he would also bring more people into the auction. More of these people would follow the channels and buy the comics when they did their Indiegogo. All these things work synergistically. YouTube is like a spider web of connections. Building bridges with Malin opens the way towards bridges with other people. And no, that's not code for gay sex. There are a bunch of people who are sort of in the middle ground, guys who aren't really sure what is going on. So instead of stepping on toes, they stay away from the channels. They stay away from channels that are in the middle of this kind of conflict. But if you build bridges to Malin, how's that for a title? It would put everyone on more friendly footing. It would also make it weird for EVS and War Campaign to continue with their antics. If you had Malin on good terms, it would be a little weird for EVS and WC to attack this unnamed group that I am not naming. And really, even without all that, why not be on good terms with people? Malin seems like a nice enough guy. He may joke around, but he isn't malicious. As adults, 40 to 50-year-old dudes, usually by this time they are mature. They've had decades to learn that it's better to gather facts before just spurging out, because adults are not children. We know we need to calmly gather facts before acting like babies in need of a biddy. If you have a boring stream with 100 people and no super chats versus a spicy stream with more people and more super chats, well, you figure it out. A-holes get more interaction than milk toast. Maybe a-hole is too strong a word, but you need some element of uncontrol, some spice, someone who's going to make a dirty joke. Because why are you on YouTube in the first place? I'm doing it for fun, but you guys are doing it for business. You're selling comic books. You need an audience for that. Your audience doesn't have to agree with you on every point, but if they're not watching you, you can't sell to them. You got to get people in the door, and if people are following just to see a little conflict, that's fine. I know your counter-argument is, but they aren't buying comics. Well, first of all, they might. Second of all, it doesn't matter. People bring people. Some people who come for the conflict will take your side and stick around or buy your comic out of curiosity. But I'm not naming names because the advice applies to everyone. And maybe I'm wrong. I am hardly an expert. I'm just another twat on YouTube. I think you also want to cycle through people to figure out different chemistry. Set up OBS so the camera is on the art, going through them one by one, and then have another half dozen guys talking or arguing about anything. This is a business for you, right? So start running your channel like a business. You guys are treating it like a social club for your friends, staying safe in your echo chamber. Kind of like the SJWs were doing with the comics. Anyway, give the link to anyone who wants on. That includes EVS and Malin. Make an email or Discord with, 100 people who have Comicsgate channels or in Comicsgate. Keep the Knights stream link in there. For now, it's better to have too many than too little. I want everyone from the past 2 years to dip in and out. Hell, the best live stream would probably have Nurkish and Cecil just shooting the breeze. Because when you have 6 people who are drawing, that's like having an empty stream. Figure out how to use OBS to get another 6 assholes to just read retarded Twitter news or Rotten Tomato reviews for Doctor Who. When you have 6 comatose artists drawing, people are tuning in and out to find something better. But when you have the SWC, Tim Lim, Mark Pellegrini, Nurkish EVS, Cecil, and a bunch of others, hell, the Hut and Nasser, you never know what those assholes are going to say next. The audience is paying attention. And when the audience is paying attention, you can drop in an ad for your book on Indiegogo. Just my 2 cents, so don't get your panties in a twisted kitty. I just want to mention that I heard this Mark Pellegrini guy for the first time last night, or the first time that I made the association to his name. The dude is really funny. And I forget who he was arguing with a year ago. I think EVS was mad at him for some reason. But to be fair, EVS is also mad at Nasser, the Comic Book Hut, Captain Cummings, Tim Lim, Nurkish, Saucy, Angleteen, Nerd Wonder, Nerdits, Newsstand, JDA. He was even mad at War Campaign before he realized that he was starting to lose his audience. You want to know something funny? I probably tune in more to War Campaign than I do to EVS nowadays. Anyway, this is Tim the Bunny Man, Timothy Lynn's latest comic. Kamen America? I don't know what that means. And this is Sashi's fold out or something, centerfold. She is a great artist. Sashi has a great style. She's 100% down with sex appeal. She has no problem with that. Just, ridiculous proportions. But guess what, guys? It's comics. Comics are all about ridiculous proportions. Am I right? Back to Sashi. Wow, it seems like everyone in this comic really loves boobs. Get a hold of, who's that girl, Mandy from Wart the Wizard? She's a definite fan of boobies too. God love her. Anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe, click the links. You can buy me a coffee at the coffee site, PayPal, Patreon, whatever. Or if you don't want to support the channel in that way, and I get it, I wouldn't support me either. I'm horrible. Send me art for the channel. Draw something cute. If you know how to letter, then put the channel's name in it. Draw something cute or draw something macabre, morbid, whatever. I like to see art. I will see you guys all next episode. And I'll put the Kickstarter link below.